start recording. All right, I think this thing is on. Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be picking up where we left off about 2 years ago, going on 3 in the East Texas University Savage World setting. I'd like to start off by thanking Shane Hensley and Clint Black for their hard work providing us with this Savage World. We'll be using the Suede rule set. I'd like to thank Preston Dubose and Ed Wetterman for the East Texas University milieu. And it's a wonderful setting. It's a lot of fun. And I'd like to also thank Duff and the Prater's Rejects Twitch channel and providing us the vehicle for uploading this video to YouTube. All of his patience, his advice, the many games that he runs, and all that Duff does for us. Special thanks. Amai, one of my players today, thank you very much for providing the character artwork. These are beautiful icons, and I think they add an entire new dimension to the game.
Aww.
And Corey, I'm hoping you're going to be watching this at some point. I'd like to put a special thank you out to you. Corey was our original dean of East Texas University. He ran the game up until late 2018, I believe, when due to health concerns, he had to stop. And we players enjoyed this game so thoroughly, so very much, that we knew we'd be picking these character sheets up again, dusting them off, blowing them off, updating them a little bit, and playing these characters once again. So this is where we are today. And Corey, it's due to the fun that we had in your first game that made this possible and increased our interest in doing so. So my name is Eric. I live in Colorado. I'll be the dean for today. I'll be running a short adventure, and I'm hoping this little mini session goes about 3.5 hour sessions, so maybe 9-10 hours of playtime. I plan to hopefully stop once an hour and just save the stream, take a break, and then restart a new file. This is my first time using OBS, my first time putting together a stream for upload, so be gentle with me. We're all sort of learning as we go along. So I'm going to start on my immediate right. Ava, please tell me a little bit about yourself, and if I can impose upon you to sort of resurrect or remind us of something we did in the original campaign that you found to be memorable, humorous, something that stuck with you even after approximately 2 years of time have passed.
So, I play Ava. Hello. From our last game, I think my favorite moment was when Ava managed to make some kind of a smoke bomb concoction in that garage with the weirdo cults to help save her new friends. And probably making really, really good friends with Shep. She's never had like a proper good best friend before. Yeah.
Well, very good, Ava. I think, let's see, you have a hindrance, a phobia, an irrational fear of talking to boys. I'm going to let that phobia slide in the case of Shep, since you guys are buds. So
yeah, she managed to make it work for that particular moment.
No penalties there, and I think we made a pretty good friend of Detective Blaine Bishop on that day. If memory serves, we rescued his son, or perhaps it was a nephew. I think it was a son. From
I think it was his son
being ritually sacrificed by this cult. So let's see. Next character over would be Shep. Shep, tell us a little about yourself, who you're playing, and one of your fondest memories from our last run of this game.
Well, I'm Nightsteed. I'm playing Shep. And fondest memory from this game. There's a bunch because I do enjoy the really long build up to the friendship between Ava and Shep. No matter how much Aaron and Erica tried to interfere faster. But I think my favorite is when we actually fought Bug Boy and Shep was outside calling 911 on his flip phone, screaming out, "Oh my God, they grabbed girls and dragged them into the house. Please, please send somebody to help. Oh my, what? Ooh, that's so wrong." And just really used his non essential charisma to keep us out of jail. After Evan and Sophia broke into the house.
I do remember that. Okay, next we have Sophia.
Hi, I play Sophia, who's an art major who's definitely afraid of trees. I think one of my favorite memories was basically we went to a greenhouse and burned it all down. We did, didn't we? Yes, I remember that. Those were good times.
I think we had help burning it down. I think like a special forces
Very
guy
therapeutic.
threw some sort of flame grenade in through the greenhouse window. Was my recollection.
We fought the chupacabra, I think.
Yes, the spiky werewolf, indeed. All right, I'm going to roll back to myself momentarily. I played Erica. She is a pre-med major. She volunteers at a hospital, in the Golden County General Hospital, right down the street, south of ETU. She's a rodeo queen, good at horseback riding. She's a fair shot with a pistol. And I'd have to say, as a player, my favorite memory from the original installment of this game, run by Corey, was fighting Solus, the demon, with this great sword in the library, and lassoing it and helping to be one of the ones that pulled it back into the gate and back to the foul place from which it came. That was nip and tuck. That was touch and go for several rounds, and that was a good combat. We did have a fifth character. His name was Mir. He was Middle Eastern. He had a lame hindrance. One of his legs was bad, and we all thoroughly enjoyed his companion dog, Rocco. To be more specific, we enjoyed sneaking Rocco treats all the time. He was a good boy, and in fact, he was every bit a stout and stalwart fighter as any of us. So here's to you, Rocco. And Mir, we hope you make an appearance at some point. We miss you. So, getting started. We are starting sophomore year. Freshman year was fraught with challenges and unusual occurrences, strange monsters, and also just a growing sense of camaraderie among the five of us. We passed our final exams, took summer off, and here we are all reconvening at East Texas University, a fictional college set in, not surprisingly, East Texas, near the border with Louisiana. It abuts the great swamp that sort of divides East Texas from Louisiana. It is just north and also abuts a small town called Pine Box, Texas. And a lot of these adventures occur at East Texas University, then the greater Pine Box city, then the environments around Pine Box, and down into Texas and possibly even Louisiana. So we're to get started. Let's look at our hindrances and our edges and see who starts with extra goodies. This is my first time in the dean's seat with this group. I hope that I do Corey justice, running the game as well as he did and just providing the level of enjoyment and just all around fun that we originally had. So let's see. We'll start with you, Shep. Anything I should know about starting up? I believe you have the cursed hindrance.
Yep, I have a major curse.
All right.
Which means every you start, you have to draw a card so that, or show me a card out so that I can see what my hindrance is for the entire session.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Let's see.
Mhm.
I've run a few games here with Fantasy Grounds, but it's still relatively new to me. Let's see where you draw a card. There's tools, maybe. Oh, okay. Something that looks like a card deck. Click on it.
Okay, we got a 3.
Okay. So,
Spades.
any hazards that we encounter, you are -2 on vigor rolls. Hazards. That would be
To resist hazards.
all right.
Oh boy.
That's not the worst one.
No, we've still managed to avoid the spurned liver one.
Ah, yes. Second fiddle. Looks like you need to start off by making a spirit roll at -2. Or I get one of your bennies.
So, did they change that one? I guess they did. Cool. Okay, spirit roll -2. Let me find spirit. It's been a second.
Oh, sure. Yes, it has. It's been a hot minute.
At least he has a decent spirit. So 5.
All right. All right. It's a fresh school year. You sense that in your peers' estimation that you are not a second fiddle. You are every bit as much of a contributing member as the rest of them or the rest of us are. I will be playing my old character as an NPC, so Erica will be providing support in the background, delivering pizza and her trademark chili for the group to keep them well fed and basically helping out as much as she can without becoming a DMPC. So, Sophia, let's see what we have here. Great luck.
Mhm.
Not just luck, mind you. Great luck.
It's great.
2 extra bennies. So let's see. Let's take a look at those bennies. I think I
Wow.
pull up the party sheet in Fantasy Grounds. I think I reset bennies, and let's see what everybody gets. I reset those bennies, and Sophia, you got a pile of them. Looks like you
Yes.
started off with 3 + 2. That's nice.
Wow.
That's
Mhm.
nice. That's nice. Chef, I'm popping up your character. You've got 3. That's awesome.
Yep.
Didn't have to take one from you. Sophia's got that common bond edge, which means
I can hand out bennies like candy.
yes, she can.
Got my own Skittles.
She can share. You get a Benny, and you get a Benny. Everybody gets a Benny.
That's fun.
Oh, suffer from a little ADHD,
I-
little bad eyes. Wears glasses. Yes, Nightsteed. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just going to say It's going to be, we need to kill this tree now. Ava, here's the Benny. You're going to blow it up.
So I really need to customize an encounter in Savage Worlds ETU based on like the trees that throw apples from the Wizard of Oz.
Oh my goodness.
My greatest nightmare.
I think that would be a fierce save at -2.
The Wizard of Oz is a horror movie.
Poor Sophie.
Scarred.
Okay,
Her childhood.
so our diminutive zebra, Ava, she's a zebra, so she gets a extra bonus to parry if she's in a crowd. Who is that guy? Robbie Niles, the original senior that sat with us and helped us out in the sweat lodge, gave us some words of advice. Be a zebra was one of his words of advice, and Ava took that to heart. Test taster? Or not test taster. Test taker. Although it'd be good to have a test taster in the party in case there's anything that's poisoned or spoiled. But good at academics. Little hindrance. What is your hindrance? Geek reference?
Yeah, she basically makes like references to gaming or movies to real life situations.
Okay. A little bit of a
And,
phobia. A little shy. And very tiny. What would you estimate your height at? Just to help me visualize. Like 5 foot?
4'11". Just under 5 feet.
Oh, well, she could possibly have a elite teenage growth spurt, but I find that to be unlikely.
Oh yeah, she's going to be a tiny little lady.
So Erica the Rodeo Queen, she hails from Texas. She hails from the region between Dallas-Fort Worth and Austin in a small town. And where are the rest of you from? Sophia? What state, city, area is Sophia from?
Trying to remember like 2 years back.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Sophia? Where did she come from?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say she lived in Chicago and traveled to Texas on an art scholarship.
Okay, that's outstanding. And what artistic bent is your speciality? A painter, a sculptor?
Painter.
Painter. That's wonderful. How about you, Shep?
Shep is actually local. He grew up basically helping his parents who own the local feed shop that specializes in holistic and GMO-free feed for your animals. His big quirk is he's a nerd in Texas, born of two nerds.
Mm-hmm.
His full name is Tiberius Shepard. His parents are sci-fi geeks.
I think that might have broken up a little bit. Let's hear that name again because I think it's a cool one.
Tiberius Shepard.
Tiberius. Wasn't that Captain Kirk's middle name?
Yep.
James Tiberius Kirk.
Yep. So
Ava, where are you from?
That's why he goes by Shep.
Yeah, right. Ava, she is from the more southern end of Texas. She's like first generation Mexican American. And then she went up to Pine, what was it? What's the city called where East
Pine
Texas
Box. Pine Box, Texas.
Pine Box. There it is. So she went up to Pine Box from the very deep south of Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So last year, this crew got together. We had a set of unfortunate occurrences in the Roost, which was nearly set aflame by some ritualistic runes that were painted along the cinder block walls. That's where we met each other and started a friendship, a camaraderie, a study group, if you will. We also battled the needler, both there and again at the end of the year in its nest in a greenhouse on campus out by the Bob Reynolds Agricultural Center. We rescued Blaine Bishop's son from a cult in a garage of a rather nice house in a rather upscale neighborhood in Pine Box, one of the nicer communities. We did encounter a guy who we called Bug Boy, who was a very intelligent, brilliant, budding insectologist. I always get the words wrong. He's either an etymologist or an entomologist. He doesn't study words, he studies bugs. So pick your poison, whichever one of those applies. I think it's entomologist, but I can't be certain. I didn't look it up. What else did we do? We encountered a leprechaun hidden in the bushes one time. We heard him chittering and laughing at us, but we never were able to quite follow up on that. So he may make an appearance at a later time.
If it giggles in a bush, we ain't going near it.
Yeah. And let's see, what anything else that I'm forgetting? That's a pretty good top level butter on one side of the toast kind of. Shep, what do you recall?
We went to the house to help the
That's right.
to help the lady with the haunting. I think we were sent there by the professor.
Right. Glenn Max sent us there. There were poltergeists.
And we found out the hubby was not so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Found his stash of girly pics and his diary of lewd activity, which Mir then took and blackmailed some people. We burned something, and apparently that's when we learned that Sophia has a firebug fetish and that it caused him to crash into a bar and kill him.
It was a voodoo doll.
If I remember right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Shep started being tutored by the grandma, the abuela.
That's right.
If I'm saying that correctly.
She was a bruja, right? A witch.
Yeah. He started getting tutored on rituals and learning Spanish, so he better converse with Ava.
That's right. That's right. As I recall, the husband left his wife and was shacking up with another woman who had one or possibly two small children, and contacted us to see if we could do something about the weird occurrences in his trailer. Things, apportioning, is that the word? Where things move of their own volition and end up in places where they were not left. And we did find that there was some poltergeist activity and some voodoo that was going on, and the children were safe because a voodoo doll or some sort of talisman was located under their mattress and kept them safe.
Yeah, the grandma sent the grandma picked the spirits on him, on the husband.
I think she cursed him and summoned those. This is the best of our recollection. It was a while ago, but I remember Erica made her best chili yet, and the big bowl of it on the kitchen table just ended up exploding all over her and one of the other members of the study group, and it all went to waste. And we tried really hard to get the stains out of the rug, out of the carpeting.
Sad.
But I don't know.
It's a sad time when we lose some of Erica's chili.
We were about 2 or 3 bites 2 or 3 bites into it, and it was one for the books. So okay, sophomore year begins. What has happened was over the summer holiday, late in the summer, Mir had surgery on his leg. Now it turns out when he was small, he was in an accident and suffered rather extensive nerve damage in his leg. And just due to current advances in the field of medicine and neuropathy, they're attempting surgery to see if he can regain some of the motion in his leg and help him so he doesn't suffer so much pain and numbness, and walking with a limp, and hopefully strengthening that limb. So he is laid up. He still came back to school. He's in one of those leg braces that has the Velcro straps in 3 or 4 places. He's making his way around slowly. He's in a fair amount of discomfort, and he's trying not to take too much painkiller medicine as it dulls his wits. But we 5 are in our off-campus housing. We got an apartment. Mir, coming from a very wealthy family, paid most of the monthly stipend. Therefore, he got the biggest, best double bedroom with his own private bathroom. But such is the breaks. So as part of coming back to the university, doing the walkthrough, finding out where your classes are, which building, what time, what's the best route between these classes, that'll maybe give you a chance to stop off at the soda machine and grab a Fresca, which is Erica's favorite soda, between Class A and Class B. Maybe reconnecting with some old friends, people that you recognize from last semester. Hey, weren't you on the one floor below me? Over in the Danford dorm or the Whitehall dorm, maybe saying hello to the people that work in the cafeteria that serve your food every day. Maybe that odd custodian or campus security guard that you developed a good relationship with. Say hello, and of course you'll talk to your advisor. And last but not least, would probably see 3 of you over in the archaeology building, meeting with Glenn Mack. Glenn Mack is seated at his desk. He's got a very comfortable, well-worn, leather-padded chair. And off to the side of his desk, Argyle, his little white West Highland Terrier, gazes at you appraisingly before putting his chin down and sighing deeply. Hello, my friends, my young friends. It's so good to see you back. Tell me how your summer went. Anything I should know about? Hopefully it wasn't too weird.
It was the most normal summer I've had since I've been here.
Good.
Right.
Did you stay local? Did you make it home? Chicago, right?
I decided to stay local.
Okay.
The summers are nice.
Okay. Well, how did you pass your time? Did you take in any of the local sites? Any of the hiking trails? Did you make it up to the reservoir?
I stayed inside a lot.
Okay.
Catch up on reading, some schoolwork.
Yeah. So in my mind's eye, Sophia, I see you. You can't tell that it's still late summer. I don't know if you've even been out in the sun the entire summer.
Likely no.
Right? You're the gamer, if I recall. Is that correct?
I think that's mostly
Ava.
Ava.
Okay.
I might have picked up some games from her over the summer.
Okay.
Right. To borrow some games here and there.
Some backseat gaming.
That's awesome. Shep, how about you? What'd you do over the summer?
Oh, I helped my parents out. here locally, but then I went to New Orleans to visit my mom's family.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. So you've got
Yep.
roots. You got roots down there in the Bayou country.
Oh yeah.
That's very good. Very good. How about you, Ava? Now, Ava, in my mind, although she's an avid gamer, she always, just due to her heritage, walks around with a bit of color in her face, a bit of a tan, darker complected. Yes.
Yeah, she is naturally a little more like cinnamon,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. So yeah, the just because her family is from Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
but she probably would have hung out and done some coding, some gaming, maybe gone to a local convention,
Mm-hmm.
trying to
Very
get
good.
the others to come with her because she doesn't want to go by herself.
Very good.
Shep would have gone.
Yeah,
All right.
Ava and Shep convention adventures.
Yeah. So, yeah, you hear some clunky footsteps coming down the hall, and Erica turns the corner. Hey,
Oh,
y'all! Now, Erica has a quirk where she is the most comfortable wearing chaps. Usually a cowboy hat, but definitely in chaps. She turns the corner and she is wearing blue medical scrubs, short sleeved, but the long pants that are made of that sort of cottony pale blue material. But over her pants, she's wearing her chaps, and she has a cowboy hat on. Howdy, y'all. Howdy, Glen Mac. I'm going down to do a stint of volunteering down a hospital, and going to take Mir down because he's due for a checkup. They want to check out his leg, and I think we're going to let Rocco go around and visit some of the kids down at the kids' wings. Some of the kids that are in for surgeries and stuff and brighten their day since he's a service dog. Mir's been doing a little bit of helping down there since he's going to be there anyway. So, how you doing, y'all? It's good to see you. I hadn't had a chance to really get unpacked yet, but I'll be taking care of that soon. She pulls out. Looks like she's still got the same old beat up flip phone. She's like, "Y'all got the same phone numbers last year."
Oh yeah, hasn't changed.
All right.
Yep.
yes.
I ain't been by the place yet. All my stuff's out in the truck. Still got the same key and everything.
Oh, you still have the truck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, every once in a while it accelerates all by itself, but other than that,
I
it's a
remember
good
that.
truck.
Yes.
I think it's taken me down through Texas, Oklahoma, up to Kansas, hell, even as far up as Cheyenne once or twice for doing the rodeo gig. That's where I spent most of my time on the summer. But kept up on my studies. Pre-med's tough. Gonna have to buckle down a lot. But looks at her watch, realizes that she's not wearing one.
Oh,
Looks at the clock on Glenn Maxwell and says, "Well, I got to be going. I fixed you up something special for dinner after my shift down the hospital's over. And good seeing y'all."
yay.
See you around.
She gives a
See
little
you
wave.
later.
Does that little pirouette, that little turn she usually does, and sort of fluffs her long blonde hair behind her under her protective brim of her cowboy hat, and clunk, 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 clunk. You hear her sort of stomping
That's so funny.
down the steps, and classes have yet to begin. So it's kind of empty here in the archaeology building, and it's a cramped, musty, kind of dark building. There are other newer and nicer buildings where students take classes here, almost like the anthropology department. It's almost like a bit of an afterthought. Plans to freshen it up. I mean, even some new lighting, clean windows, and a coat of paint would do a lot. But it's always a matter of funding. Be that as it may, Glenn Mack is eternally hopeful that the conditions of his digs will improve. So, you guys are talking, and there's a little knock at the lintel of the open door, and a rather attractive blonde, probably around Glenn Mack's age, pokes her head around and says, "Hi, Glenn Mac." And he's like, "Oh, Helen, come in, come in." And he says, "This is my friend Helen Lane. She's a local." And she's like, "Well, hello. These are anthropology students?" No, not anthropology. Just some of the students that I took under my wing after kind of a rough start at the beginning of their freshman year. And they've all returned as sophomores. And she's like, "Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. It's nice to meet you all." She passes Glenn Mack a folded note and says, "Why? I must be on my way. I'm just in the area and I thought I'd drop this off." He's like, "You should call her, Glenn Mack. You should call her. She's a nice lady." She waves by and turns around and exits Glenn Mack's cramped office. Argyle perked up and panted a little bit at her, cocked his head, and when she left, he sighs and puts his chin back on his crossed paws. The absence of treats forthcoming has been noted and cataloged.
Aww.
So Glenn Mack leans back in his comfortable padded chair, crosses his hands behind his head, looks up at the sky and says, "Well, we still haven't heard from Jackson Green. He's still unaccounted for, AWOL. After that nasty business with that critter that fired those quills.
Oh.
All that was really remaining in his apartment as evidence were a few quills that were stuck in the wall of his trailer, kind of behind a set of draperies that were overlooked by the Pine Box Sheriff's Department. A little bit of blood, not his, and that was all that was heard of him. He still hasn't made an appearance. I hope he's okay. I'm going to have to find myself another TA to fill his place. But, he was more than a TA. He was a friend, and you know that they shared an interest in the occult. So he was sort of his right-hand guy to go to check out paranormal events, try to get them on film, try to get them recorded, and do a little background investigation, come up with some fact from some research and some fact hunting. So Glenn Mack looks sad.
I'm sure he'll turn up.
I'm sure he will too. He goes on hiatus now and then, and doesn't always tell me when he's going and where he's going and when he's going to be back. But I really do fear the worst for him. At the end of your freshman year, you received a note from him in a manila envelope along with a photograph. And the little sticky note said, "Keep it secret, keep it safe." And it was a picture from the early 50s of a professor, 2 male students, and I believe it was 3 female students seated outside on a nice day.
I vaguely remember that. One of the women was Glenn Mack's girlfriend, fiance, something like that. Lady he's seen. I don't remember their relationship.
There was a link. Yeah, I remember there was a weird link that we were
She's
like,
old.
"Oh,
Yeah,
that's odd."
There was a link. I don't think that we ever established what that link was. We had vaguely placed names to faces through investigating old yearbooks, musty tomes in the basement of the library. And yeah, some of these folks were a study group much like yourselves. So we'll probably be able to delve a little bit more into that. There was a weird triad between one of the young fellows' name was Jack, and one of the young women was a ghost that had appeared in the roost that burst into flames And I think she was trying to warn you, if memory serves, about the danger you were in due to the glyphs that were painted on the cinder block walls.
That was in the basement, right? No.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was. I don't think she was trying to warn us. She was trying to kill us.
The one of us, I don't know if it was Erica. I don't think it was. Could it have been Mir? Was burned on the arm a little bit, and that was sort of a temporary, like occult item that burned that helped to detect the weird sigils and ritualistic smears that were on the wall that were growing immensely hot. Her name was Nina Castle, this ghost, and she was another one of the students that is depicted in that picture. Perhaps something that we can investigate as the early weeks of the sophomore year pass on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
I'll assume that Mir had that picture.
I think so.
Because he
Yeah, I
stayed,
think it was sent to him.
yeah, because he stayed local due to his surgery, and it's in a manila folder, probably stuck in between some books and 3-ring binders in a shelf in his room. So you all leave Glenn Mack's office unless there's anything else that you'd like to discuss with him. He's just biding his
Nope.
time.
Over the summer.
Oh, I've well, you're friends, so I can relate this, friend to friend rather than advisor to student. My life has become a little bit lonely. I realize that I've spent so much of my time investigating paranormal activity and throwing myself into my studies and cataloging and categorizing ancient pieces of ceramic, pottery, and weapons and other items that do pass through my hands. I realize I've been missing out on a relationship, so I've been trying to take the requisite steps to develop a relationship with a young woman. And nothing so far, but I haven't been at it that long. Dating's hard. And he looks at the three of you, and probably one or two of you might at least nod once, just about the difficulty of, romance. And he says, "Yeah, I have been lonely of late, and I've been, on a couple of the local services that are in Pine Box, hoping a matchmaker may be able to set me up with a young woman who I might, find that I have certain things in common with and can establish, at least a budding, fledgling type of relationship." And that nice Helen stopped by. She runs one of the local matchmaking sites, and he opens up, lays out a paper on his desk that includes a paper-clipped color photograph of an attractive blonde woman. And there's some like little boxes with information. You can probably make out a name, Lisa Gray, on it. A few lines of bio, age, where she lives, background, what she does for a living, interest in music, religion, and he sort of just gives it just a quick scan, and he goes, "Oh dear, she has two young children. Oh dear."
I'm guessing were dating sites around?
Sure they were.
Sites,
sure they were.
Probably.
It wasn't as simple as going online. It was more something that you would go to and take a short video, a minute video of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you would get like letters and notifications of, another individual that someone else that's interested and that meets your criterion, and there would sort of maybe city, not their address, but their city and a way to get in touch with them. So sure, it wasn't as easy as it is these days, but technology really advanced. I mean, in 20 years, light speed. So he's like, two small children. What do you think, Argyle? Argyle looks up at him and goes, "Ooh," and puts his chin down. And he's like, I know. I'm not sure either. But she's local and she's a lawyer. Okay. Went to Tulane University. She's very well established in here. Haven't had much of a legal need here in Pine Box, Texas, but has a local business here. Works out of her house. She sure is pretty. In my mind's eye, I sort of see. She probably looks a little bit like Laura Dern, like from the Jurassic Park kind of era.
Oh, yeah. Remember that? Jurassic Park's a great movie. Oh my gosh. Huh.
Let's see. I'm going to share a picture of her.
This is sad. Would it be weird if I invited him to our next chili night? He sounds so depressed.
You're gonna invite him to our next chili night?
That's why I'm asking if it's weird. We're still students.
I don't know.
Eric would be all for that because she likes teasing Glenn Max. She can say things that are just off color enough to make him stutter and stammer a little bit. And as much of a flirt as he is, she is even worse, and she can really make him uncomfortable by just getting a little bit too close and just leaning over his shoulder, just ignoring his space, and he can really start stammering and stuttering. So Eric would be happy to cook for one more. She generally she makes a pot, one of those pots that's about a foot deep and about a foot around.
It's going to be so much chili.
And
weeks worth of leftovers.
And she had been trying her hand at cornbread. So it'll be interesting to see how she has been doing with her cornbread. I think her last success was one that she had chopped up some jalapeno peppers and put them in the batter. And they were good. I think she overcooked them a little bit, if memory serves. But yeah. So he's looking, and that's a picture. Of course, it's not a picture of her talking on her flip phone, but that'll just give you an idea of sort of the photograph that's paper clipped to the bio sheet, to the one pager of this young Lisa Gray with two children that lives locally in Pine Box, Texas.
Does that lady look familiar to us? As the lady from when we voodooed that one guy.
That woman's name was Lori.
Okay.
I think she only had one kid.
Okay.
That woman's name was Lori, and her she was always dressed to the nines in sort of chic country wear, like a white cowboy hat with a matching frilled white leather vest and a white leather skirt,
all out,
and bright white cowboy boots. And her hair was very straight, whereas Lisa's is wavy. I'm going to say
so we don't recognize her. All right. Well, I guess
I'm just going to say, let's just make if all of you could give me a common knowledge roll.
Okay.
Okay. We are playing the Savage Worlds system, which is somewhat like Dungeons and Dragons. Instead of having an armor class and hit points, we have a parry roll, which is sort of like armor class, and our toughness, which is sort of like hit points. Generally, our player characters and named NPCs are called wild cards, and they have what is known as bennies or benefits. And these bennies are like little chips that give you rerolls. And we start off the session by doling them out, usually 3 to a character, and the DM usually gets 1 per character as well. The target number for many successes in Savage rolls is a 4. Shep and Ava both exceeded a 4 with a 6 and a 5. Sophia, you got a 3, so you didn't quite hit that target number. This is not a critical roll, but if this was like an in extremis situation, you could use a Benny to re-roll that and try to get that target number of 4. In multiples of 4, you're doing better and better and better. So while a 4 is a success, if you beat that roll by 4 with an 8, that's called a raise. And in this situation, it would give you a little more information maybe. But with a success, Shep and Ava, both of you recall about a year ago, one of your visits to talk to Detective Blaine Bishop, who was a local detective, Texas State Police, took you down to the Pine Box Sheriff's Office. They're kind enough to share some space with the state police. You do recall this woman walking perhaps out as you were walking in.
Yes.
Slender. She was wearing a navy blue jacket with matching skirt just above the knee, slid it up the side a little bit. She was carrying just a handful of paperwork, and Shep will say that you held the door for her since she seemed to be rather laden with her purse and trying to talk on a phone. And you think that was her. It looks a whole lot like her. Her picture didn't do her justice. She's quite a pretty lady. And perhaps you think, okay, well, she was probably in there talking to a defendant or something that was related to the legal system.
Now, was this before or after we had to go and bail Erica out?
Which time?
That's what I'm asking. I do remember. I remember something.
Yeah.
She was releasing a lady back then.
Erica was arrested for carrying a machete on campus in her duffel bag. She's been a bit of a trouble magnet, and sort of in exchange for Detective Bishop kind of looking the other way, we did that favor for him, where he sort of accidentally left that folder of information on his desk regarding that cult in that nice upscale section. And he sort of just happened to probably feel the need to go down and grab a cup of coffee down in the lounge. And he sort of said, now, don't y'all get into anything, while I'm gone. But it was apparent that he meant you to look into that folder. I think Erica got off just doing some public service. And this is how she developed a relationship with the Golden County General Hospital, doing like candy stripe work, volunteer work. They had her dress up as a clown at a party for the kids once, and she really did enjoy that. And so you do have a vague recollection of a serious, very busy, somewhat distracted, blonde lawyer type in and about the environs of the Pine Box Police Department.
Okay.
So you make your way out. You take a little walk around campus. You probably visit the student center. We'll say you buy a East Texas University one of those like insulated cups. Your old one may have cracked, or it might have been run through the dishwasher on the bottom when it should have been at the top. It got ruined. So pick up something like that, perhaps a T-shirt or a sweatshirt. You may need that odd notebook, a plastic blister pack of 4 Bic pens or something like that. and
School
you
supplies.
Shep buys 2 hoodies because his just keep disappearing.
mhm. Okay.
So many pens going missing. Oh no.
Yes, there must be like a poltergeist that's been taking them. And Sophie and Ava, if you could roll me a notice roll, please.
Sure.
I can.
I think I'll need it with a raise.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
I'm too busy
Ava,
looking at stationery.
you're too busy looking at places to escape to if a eligible young man may come up and say hello to you. But Sophia, you notice that every once in a while, Shep reaches down to like the outside of his pants and touches something in his pocket that seems like maybe a coin or a little larger than a coin. But by the third time you notice him reach down and touch, it's almost like he's just making sure something's there. You just notice that just in the course of your walking around campus and whatnot. It's interesting. It's worth noting. Is it important? Probably not so much.
Oh, it's funny. Sophia. Oh gosh darn it. That's funny. Oh,
It could, yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I learned how to how to unpack the file
Oh, hey.
of Fantasy Grounds images. This sort of splash screen. I played around and figured out how to unpack them and add to them. So thought I'd make the background a little bit more interesting.
It's so
Fantasy,
cute.
Fantasy Grounds is a good tool, and it's just fun, just messing around with it, trying to, I don't know, maybe graduate to the next level of usage. Yeah. So y'all walk around. You probably go back to your off-campus housing. Remind me, which of you has a vehicle that you keep on campus or off campus? You're all
I
off campus now, so
yeah.
Um
I have a motorcycle.
you
I
do.
think
I have a
that
truck.
Yes.
I think Ava technically has like a little Vespa.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think that was in the list of her
Me, 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 me,
stuff
me,
that
me, 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 me.
yeah, a tiny lady on a tiny little vehicle. Exactly. That's it's a miracle they didn't make her put a booster seat on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you do if your legs don't quite reach the? Does a Vespa have pedals like a brake, or it's all hand? It's all
I
hand.
think it's all on the hands with the
Okay.
little
Yeah.
it has those little
Yeah.
steps on the side.
Yeah. You probably have to wear your platform shoes while you're riding it.
She's like probably got one of those super classic ones because she's not very rich, so it's like probably like a little chugger
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. If you've ever been around, driving behind someone who's like maybe very small, like an elderly person that can barely, see over the steering wheel, that's probably like Ava driving with her hands on the handlebars, kind of peering over the handlebar crossing and driving. So Shep, you have a pickup truck.
Yeah, just an old farm truck,
All right. And
basically.
Love
and
it.
Sophia has a motorcycle.
It's very loud.
That's rather cool. Is it a street bike or is it more of like a dirt bike?
Let me double check. I have it here in my inventory.
Would you describe it as one of those like Japanese pocket rockets, or
It is
more?
a street bike.
Okay, that's kind of awesome. So you probably don't have to wear a helmet. It is Texas, but being cautious and safety oriented, you probably have a helmet that you wear
She definitely has a helmet. Safety first at
sometimes.
all times.
Sometimes. Okay. So you're back at your off-campus housing. Um, you do see a duffel bag and like an old battered like army trunk, um, just inside the door, and it's Erica's. Looks like she dropped off her stuff and then picked up Mir and shot over to the hospital. But everything is much as you left it. All your school supplies, your books. Let's see. Was this before the age of laptop computers? They probably, yeah, they probably existed.
97.
They were kind of clunky though, large and clunky.
Big old brick laptops.
Yeah.
Probably still had to plug it into a modem. Wireless technology was around, but probably you have, we'll say that Mir provided you folks with two full-size desktop computers. So they're there. None of you had any pets.
Nope.
And as you
You
look
we
in
just
the
take care.
you look in the refrigerator, and you see that Erica must have picked up some food at the grocery store, because you do see a couple packs of meat and some vegetables, all the makings for a big pot of chili. But it's all kind of packaged up, and you realize you haven't eaten yet today, aside from the odd cup of coffee and maybe a quick biscuit or a bagel or muffin. So, where would you head to get something to eat other than the Pizza Barn?
Oh, the faithful Pizza Barn.
The faithful Pizza Barn. Didn't we have a bunch of coupons for it?
Oh,
We have a
Yep.
book of coupons or something.
sadly, they've all expired. Although if the waiter or waitress doesn't look too closely at them, it might pass. I know the Pizza Barn, being a good local business, likes to have a continually cultivated and improving relationship with the college students at East Texas University, because they provide them with a lot of their business. It's funny how even a student with a meal card that gives them 3 squares a day will still find the need to order a pizza every couple of days. And pizza parties, and for a party where there's going to be getting together maybe before or after the Ravens football game or something like that. Pizza Barn's a good place, and they deliver. So you find yourself at the Pizza Barn. Smells so good. It's one of those places you open it up and the smell hits you and your mouth starts watering immediately. And of late, they've started to specialize in some of their non-traditional pizzas. So yes, you could probably get a gluten-free crust if you really needed. You could probably find some of the non-cheese cheese pizza, or a white pizza that doesn't have tomato sauce. Anything like that.
Fancy.
Anything like that.
Do they have taco pizzas?
Taco pizza.
Oh, on a roll of 1 or a 2. Sadly, no. Sadly, no. There are 2 good Mexican restaurants in town. Being in Texas,
Oh, they can't compete with that.
yeah, that Tex-Mex cooking is easy to find here. And maybe you recall, maybe they were trying like a pizza of the month just to see how they sell, and maybe the taco pizza wasn't much of a seller.
Sad. It's okay. We can try one of the fancy pizzas instead.
Sure.
Let's come back to the Pizza Barn in style with the fancy
We always end up at the Pizza Barn.
Yeah. So let's see. It's we're about an hour in. Let's take a short break. I want to load a picture of your waitress at the Pizza Barn. And since this is my first time recording with OBS, I don't want these files to get too big. So I'd like to stop recording and then start recording again when we convene, say in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.